You're watching an exclusive interview with the President of Latvia, Mr. Edgars Rinkēvičs. Mr. President, great pleasure to have you here. Very happy that you agreed to talk to us. Well, we've been here now for a third day. So a lot of things happened at the Munich Security Conference. As the chair of Munich Security Conference, Mr. Ischinger, is saying this is like a seismograph of transatlantic relations. You probably were here last year too, so you must recall the famous speech of the Vice President J.D. Vance. This year, Marco Rubio made the speech, which is considered to be very conciliatory, or more conciliatory, and it's been welcomed by the sigh of relief, according to the chairman, Mr. Wolfgang Ischinger. Were you one of these people who also felt relieved after the speech?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me back. It's great to be here. I think that what we have seen throughout the whole conference actually is, of course, much calmer attitude from both, from our American friends and partners, but also from many Europeans. To some extent, I would say that I liked Secretary Rubio's speech, and I would say that I would, to some extent, subscribe to each and every word for two reasons. The first reason, I think that there was a very strong message that, by the way, we heard also from other American officials, from President Trump and cabinet members and also members from the Congress throughout this year, that America needs Europe, America needs strong Europe, and America needs transatlantic alliance and partnership. That is something that you often hear as question in doubt. And I think this kind of reassurance was very much needed. A second element that is very important is that Secretary Rubio and also Vice President last year and other American officials have presented their vision for excellent transatlantic relationship. Some elements we can agree on, some elements we can discuss on, some elements probably we will leave as disagreed ones. And from that point of view, I think that if we kind of put conferences in the sequence, if last year that was a bit kind of shock moment, everyone tried to understand where this is moving. A year after the Munich conference, we have seen already much clearer attitude by the American side. By the way, also European leaders have outlined what they believe European priorities are: defense, energy, digital sovereignty, support for Ukraine. So we have now clearly set kind of negotiating positions, and I hope that the next year's conference will be about finding common ground on those issues we can agree, and maybe to think what to do about those issues we disagree.
Mr. President, some of the commentators, actually quite a lot of them, said that actually what we witnessed this year was like a good cop act, and what we witnessed last year was a bad cop act. And the substance, when you look into that, is actually not that different. Do you subscribe to this view?
I think that many American administrations, not only President Trump, were asking us for many years to be much more serious about defense, to be much more serious about our own capabilities when it comes guarding our own territory, when it comes securing our own independence and freedom. This was done by President Bush, it was done by President Obama, it was done by President Trump in his first term, President Biden. And yes, indeed, we were moving to 2% defense spending target, now 5%. But let's admit, we are doing that very, very slowly. Energy dependency on Russia was another thing. The Baltic states were adamantly against building Nord Stream. Only the Russian invasion in Ukraine has actually put an end to this dependency, and we still have some countries that export a lot of things to Russia, unfortunately including also those countries that are staunch supporters of Ukraine, and import a lot of Russian oil and gas. So from that point of view, I think that what is very important is the acknowledgement in the United States that transatlantic alliance is in the interests of the United States, clearly that they want to have a strong Europe. But yes, those elements about migration, about other things, those are something that we see as the policy of the United States, but let's admit, migration issues, issues that we face all in Europe. Poland and Latvia has a bit different challenge, that's the hybrid war organized by Lukashenko regime. But in other countries, this is the hot potato where you get people asking a lot of questions what the government should do about that or another issue, and that's, like it or not, is the problem that needs to be solved in a democratic way, and people's voices need to be listened. However, there have been also mistakes, and those mistakes are now paying off.
Mr. President, the Chancellor Friedrich Merz and Secretary Marco Rubio, both they mentioned that we live in a new age of geopolitics. And Friedrich Merz also said that this is a new age of great powers politics now, which is, departure from the rules-based order. Well, where does it leave countries like Latvia?
Well, I think that the post-Cold War era is over, and that world order has gone. And it's gone not, let's say, last year here at Munich. It's gone by the Russian invasion of Georgia, of the occupation of Crimea, of a war that has started 4 years ago, the full-scale war that Russia started against Ukraine. And we have seen clear inability of international system to deal with that efficiency, in an efficient way. So, yes, I agree that there is emerging new order. Yes, I agree that there is a kind of desire to divide world in the spheres of influence, and I think that history of the Baltic states of Latvia or Poland or many other countries in the Central and Eastern Europe show that this is very dangerous. It's dangerous for our existence, and we need to take this very, very seriously. But at the same time, I think that then we have to ask the question about great powers. Do we consider China, the United States as great powers? Yes. The big question is about Russia. Yes, it's a dangerous regional power. It presents clear and present danger. But in Europe, can we say that France, Germany, the United Kingdom or Italy or Spain are great powers compared to the United States or to China? No. Together as the European Union, as a European power, yes. But then we must act together. So, and then even great powers will need order, some kind of rules that we all follow. And I think this is emerging. This is a dangerous situation. But unlike back in 1920s, 1930s, we are part of NATO and European Union. We invest a lot in the regional cooperation, and I think that's the current response. So when asked what's our defense, I'm saying the first, it's our national defense. Second, it's regional defense, including our Nordic-Baltic partners, Poland and Germany, as the Baltic Sea. Third, it's Europe. Fourth, it's transatlantic relationship, because we do see that well, there is a lot of rhetoric, but there is also a lot of practical cooperation with the United States and Canada going on.
Mr. President, Latvia, the other Baltic states, and Poland, they designed their defense policy on the assumption of the viability of Article 5, viability of NATO. But Poland is also preparing plans for self-defense in case NATO fails. Is it something that Latvia and other Baltic states are looking into too?
Well, as I said, national defense, regional defense, European defense, transatlantic defense. But it's all under NATO's and the EU's umbrella.
Okay. Chancellor Merz and Emmanuel Macron, they both said that we need to reorganize European defense around the coalition of the willing and coalition of the able. And they mentioned a number of big countries in that. Neither Poland nor Latvia was there. Did it not worry you?
Well, I think we have now a kind of process where we have different formats. For instance, when it comes to Ukraine, we have coalition of the willing.
Yeah.
We have Berlin format, we have Washington Group, we have E3, we have still EU format, and we have NATO format. Look, I think that if we talk about European defense, then let's be clear. The only region that faces real threat, and if we are capable of building our own defense, I think it's going to be theoretical threat. If we fail, it's going to be a very practical threat. Is the Baltic region, it's Poland, it's what we call eastern flank. So coalition of the willing and able should be formed in order to protect all of Europe, including us, and talking with leaders of big powers in Europe and not so big powers, we understand that actually we are in. And we are the member of the coalition of the willing. And yes, indeed, by putting more investment in defense, of course, Latvia being a small country will never be able to be with the big army as Poland, but at least with a professional, capable, and also with conscription element added, it's going to do whatever it takes and how much it takes to defend the country with all the possible means. So from that point of view, I think it would be very difficult to all the time read a long list of countries that should be there. But definitely we see ourselves in this process, and we will be there. I am sure Poland will be there and Baltic states will be there.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for your time. We were speaking with the President of Latvia, Edgars Rinkēvičs.
Thank you.
Thank you.